buddy. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Talk make the rest of the analysts go missing. In the UFL, have them amateurs all limping. We so sick with the blitzing. Break down defense quicker than a weak immune system. Rose G, my boys are real. Pancaked over the middle. Yeah, I hopped on the field. Who wanna get hurt now? Cause you can make it past the line of scrimmage, but you still won't be the first down. With my team submerging, you got a better chance making a 4 for 40-yard conversion. Explosion on the team, UFL was the lead. J Mike close behind the scene.
What's going on, people? Welcome to week 2 of the hit show Real Tough Talk. I'm Stephen J.
And I'm Ghost.
And we're here to tell you about an exciting week 2 season game in the UFL. Great game in the snow, the way we like it, but it was cold. My fingertips are still numb.
Listen, holding that camcorder out there doesn't do well for my fingers either.
Even our stat keepers was in cold, freezing, but we out here for football. That's what it's about. In no particular order, we're going to talk about replacements in KDW. Both coming off of losses last week. Look to turn it around and try to get the ship going. Both have quarterbacking issues. KDW this week decided to scrap the Casper project, scrap the Angel project, and now they go with their third quarterback, Bruce. Bruce has thrown in other leagues, so the dude has experience. But how will he be able to impact KDW on their offense this week? What do you think?
I mean, I think that he was very effective. I think that they were a different team on offense because of Bruce. He was able to move the ball. He was able to make the passes that was needed to be made. He was very accurate, and that's the key to winning these games.
Well, if you look here, this is his first touchdown catch. And sometimes you got to get the jitters out, and you see D-Boy has the interception. You have to make that play. This guy's an all-star. He's a leader of his team. You have to make that play. The ball is tipped, and Brian makes the catch for the touchdown. And you'll hear that name Brian all day long. Not only did Bruce like throwing to him, it seems to me like the defense like throwing to him too.
Yeah, because he
or
had...
the offense, I would say.
Well, yeah, the opposing offense had, threw a pick right to him. I think that was a great play by Brian. He was one person that was very impactful on their team.
Now, replacements get the ball. Hood was not able to make it. They had another quarterback, Tess, and it seems like Tess was making the same mistakes that Hood made last week.
I mean, but he looked a little better out there. He was able to make a few throws that, were on target. He was able to make decent decisions, but he had a hard defense this game.
Well, in order to make plays for the quarterback, you got to stay in the pocket. You got to be able to move away from the blitz, move away from the pressure. And unfortunately, Chris, the ball giver for KDW, was on point. If you look here, this is one of his 3 sacks for the day. And that pressure got to Tess all day. He looked uncomfortable. He didn't look like he was confident with the snow and the blitz. That stands for disaster. And
that led to Brian's pickoff.
If you see right here.
Yes, it led right to that because that pressure was on him the whole game. That pressure was on him. They were in his face. They would not let up, and that's why I caused him to throw that interception.
Well, KDW wouldn't be able to score that drive, so replacements get the ball back, and here you go, another sack by Chris. This guy was on fire today.
Yeah, but unfortunately for him, he pulled his shoulder on that play. He was hurt for a little bit. He was able to recover later on in the game, and as long as he was fine, that's all that matters to me.
If you look right here now, KDW gets the ball back, and Bruce goes right downfield to Brian for the touchdown pass a defensive player of the year, runner-up, all-star, D-Boy. He already dropped the play, interception, and then he gets beat for a touchdown. What's going on with D-Boy?
I don't know. It seems like he's really trying to do too much. I think that he's really trying to be everywhere at once, and there's no way that you can do that, especially when a quarterback like Bruce was throwing well. He was very accurate. You have to be on your man rather than worrying about anybody else. It seems like he was worried about too much, and that's why he was able to get beat on that play.
Well, let's say D-Boy redeemed himself. If you look at this play here, Tessa come to him and find him for the touchdown. So he's trying to redeem himself offensively since it's not working defensively. But then KDW right back. One thing about Bruce, he can get the ball downfield. He makes throws. He's not scared of throwing interceptions. He throw this ball right here, and another play, D-Boy has the interception again.
It comes off as when he was going for that play, he thought it was coming right to him. He didn't move up into the play. He didn't try to step up to try to catch it. So he waited for the ball to come to him, and that's when the receiver from KDW just came and took that ball right from him.
And then, right here, following the play, you see Bruce find Pedro in the corner for a touchdown. Is Bruce this team's savior? That's what it looks like to me. He came up lighting up the score. They couldn't score last week, and he comes out and lights it up.
Obviously, he was a difference maker in this game. He was able to move the ball. He looked confident out there. He was not scared of replacement's defense. He was just throwing the ball, and he did his job, and he was able to pull it away for them.
Well, eventually, replacements would get the ball back. They were down, and unfortunately, once again, Chris gets another sack. This guy was locking him down all day. All day. That's after Bruce, C-Rock picked off Bruce. Finally, Bruce made a mistake. C-Rock picked him off. But like I said, if you look right here, Chris has another sack.
But you contribute that to the whole defense. They kept the receivers covered. There was nowhere for Tess to go, and that's why Chris was given enough time to make that sack.
D-Boy makes another catch right here for the touchdown, but as you see, it was a little too late, and KDW ended up winning this game 18-12 to beat the replacements. So now KDW is back in the driver's seat at 1-1. Replacements are 0-2. Is it panic mode?
I mean, I would say yes and no. Like, I wouldn't say yet.
Yes and no.
It's hard to say because this is a game that they could have won. I feel like they were in position to win. I feel like a new quarterback in Bruce was something that was very unexpected. And, you know, a defense, you know, kind of gets thrown a blindside by that. You don't expect a new quarterback to come in and throw as well as Bruce did.
Listen, you can't go down. Now, this team is 0-2. But luckily, because of their division, you know, they can still make a run. The only one they got to worry about right now, because the only team that's 2-0 right now is MVR. Remember, 3 teams are coming out of this division. This looks like it's going to be a weak division. It looks like MV might run away with this division, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens next week. Next up, House Gang versus IOD. This is another anticipated game. Both teams coming off of wins. Both teams look like they're going in a different direction as far as their styles. House Gang are grinded up. Depend on our defense. Offense, we just don't need you to make turnovers. Defense are going to make stops. Offense can't make turnovers. Vice versa. The other way, IOD is more of they move the ball around the field. They're not as scared to go for the home run. They're more of a we take what you can give us type team. So we're going to start off House Gang with Mike getting sacked by Shockey. Mike is not mobile. He can't really get out the pocket. He can't escape a blitz. He can't escape the ball giver. So to me, that screams West Coast offense. Get the ball out. Let your playmakers make the plays. You got JP, you got Herman, you got Rudy, you got guys that if you get them the ball in space, they can make people miss. And they also, bro, Matt, the retirement, the guy who retired over about, I would say, 8-9 years ago, Oogie came back. Oogie was known. He used to play with the Young Guns, won a championship. This guy is known. But they did not get him the ball at all. In the snow, you have a running back that makes people miss. You don't get him the ball.
I mean, I don't know. I guess they were worried. They weren't fully confident in him coming to play. I don't know the answer to that because they didn't even give him a chance. I guess they couldn't find him. Who knows what Mike Santos is thinking out there.
Well, then we got this play right here. Mike Santos does make a good throw to Rudy. But unfortunately, JP comes over and crashes into Rudy. Now, a lot of people say JP is a ball hog. To me, he's a playmaker. But sometimes you got to know where you at on the field. And I don't think he was supposed to be on that part of the field.
But I feel like you can't necessarily blame one person for that play. I feel that everybody has to be on the same page, and that shows that there is no route-based running for these receivers. There's no structure. So everybody's running just trying to get open. I heard Ty Swagger, throwing some plays out there, sending them out on certain routes, but it wasn't consistent. They weren't even running those routes properly, and that's what led to this blown touchdown. This could have made a difference in this game.
And that causes them to turn over the ball. This is a great stop by Pig. We watching Pig all season. He's trying to get that comeback player of the year. Remember, he's playing with a rod in his leg. Great defense by Pig right here. But unfortunately, a few plays later, Slasher is able to find Andy for the touchdown. Slasher is a guy they need to start talking about. This guy's a quarterback. This guy's mobile. This guy makes plays. So they need to start talking about him. So now, Mike Santos goes to his favorite receiver, JP, with a nice catch. Remember, they was on all three of them last time where JP crashed into Rudy, like we just said, but Mike was able to find him for this great catch.
And I think that he needs some set up some plays just for JP because he would go to him a lot more during this game. I feel like he's one of the keys on their offense because he knows how to get open. Route-based or not, he knows how to get open, and I feel like defenders need to worry about him.
Mike was then able, a few plays later, was able to find Smokey for this touchdown, putting House Gang back into the game. But then, House Gang was not able to score really after that. They've been struggling offense. They won last week 6-0. This week they wasn't unable to really put up points. The question is it your receivers or is it your quarterback? Who's the problem?
I mean, I feel like the whole offense is so unstructured that you can't necessarily blame one person. I feel like the quarterback doesn't see certain people that's open. He looks at one side of the field. If you look at that play there that they couldn't score on that drive, Herman was open on that play.
Yeah, look at
he
it
was
right
open on a slant. He's running towards the right. Mike Santos did not throw him the ball. He clearly had his defender beat when he was slanted to the right. He did not throw him the ball. That would have led to a score.
Mike missed some throws today. Unfortunately, they were stopped. IOD gets the ball back. Smokey gets the sack on Swagger's blitz. This team plays defense. They play the smash mouth, hard-nosed defense. A few plays later, Smokey would get another sack. This guy's on fire as far as a ball giver. He's really focused and he's looking to get that quarterback.
I feel like this year, even more than last year, the ball givers are playing big, they're making plays, and they're getting results for their defense. But again, that contributes to the whole defense. You give the whole defense credit because they're holding their receivers and giving Smoke a chance to make that sack.
House Gang was able to get the ball back. Mike Santos has JP open on this great chair route, but he misses him. JP has to go out of bounds to make the catch. Bad throw or bad route?
I just feel like it was just too close. That's all it was. It wasn't a bad pass at all. It's just JP happened to step out of bounds. We know that running on this field is kind of hard, so it's kind of hard to see the line when you're running out there.
Gotta know where you at.
But yes,
you're a receiver.
That is true.
Quarterback can't see the line. You have to know where you're at on the field as a receiver. Should Mike have made a better throw? Yes, especially the way JP beat that corner. You have to make a better throw. So I'd say both of them should take a little blame on this. Unfortunately, once again, House Gang unable to score. But again, IOD gets the ball back, and House Gang's defense gets this interception by Rudy. Rudy's more than just a quarterback.
I feel like he's making big plays on their defense. I feel like he can become one of the anchors on the defense. Not only Ty, not only Smoke. I feel like Rudy is a big pickup for this defense, and I feel like he's here to make plays for their defense.
So now, House Gang got the ball back. Mike throws the ball away and misses Pig wide open. You can't miss those plays.
He didn't even see him open on the other side. He clearly ran out on his route. He slanted to the left. Mike Santos was not even looking at that.
Gotta look throughout the whole field. Once again, offense is stopped. Defense back on. Nice blitz by Ty right here. Again, like I said, House Gang plays defense. That's what they're known for. That should be their backbone. But eventually, what's going to happen is your defense can't hold forever. Smokey just misses the sack. And Slasher finds Ace for the touchdown. That really hurt them. That put them down. Really hurt them. Put them down 13-7. But how long can the defense hold?
I mean, it's hard when IOD has a good offense. They make plays. It's hard to stay with a lot of their guys, especially this guy who was wide open in the middle. Smoke obviously didn't have enough time to make that sack. He was Slash was able to make that throw and make that play. He was wide open in the middle, and I feel like since Smoke didn't get that play, there was nothing else they can do.
So now, House Gang got the ball. They're down 13-7. You got to score. You got to score. And Mike gets blitzed. And what I told you was his problem all year. We're only in week 2. But again, he made the same mistakes last year. He's not mobile. So if somebody does not pick up the blitz, he's going to make a bad throw. And unfortunately, he makes his bad throw.
But it's not only that he's not mobile. This is about decision making here. This is decision making. It's not just your arm. It's not just your legs. It's decision making. Should he have taken a sack? Yes.
He had to take a good sack.
It was the first play of that drive. Do not throw the ball on that blitz. Take the sack. Lose the yardage. You can get it back. Why throw that ball? He overthrown his receiver because he was worried about the blitz and getting the ball away right to the defender in the corner.
Eminem makes a pick off, touchdown, game over, 18-7. It's over. Unfortunately, House Gang takes another loss, and now they got YMM this week.
I mean, it's a hard route up for House Gang. This could have been a game that they could have sealed away earlier, but again, a lot of plays with Mike Santos. It wasn't good decision making. He wasn't looking at the whole field, and I felt like that's what led to this loss because their defense played great out there today.
Now you got to ask yourself a question: what are we gonna do? We can't put up points. This offense cannot put up points, and you got to say, "Hey, Rudy's on the sideline. We said it last week. The guy's mobile, and if he can't make the throw, he'll make a run." So you got to decide what you're gonna do. 2 weeks in a row, you was only able to put up 6 points. Can't do that. Doesn't work. So House Gang needs to go back to the drawing board and figure out what they're gonna do. They're 1-1. You in a very tough division. You want to get as many wins as you can get because, like I said, you're in a tough division.
And let's not only talk about House Gang and their troubles. Let's talk about IOD. And they're playing a big game out there. They're 2-0 right now. They're a team to watch out for. They're not a surprise no more. They're a good team.
People are going to be watching them. And right now, House Gang, remember, you got Rawness, you got Animal Planet, you got the Browns, and you got Reckless. You need to be the number 3 in their division. They got to figure out what they're going to do. They got a big game versus YMM next week. Hopefully they can turn it around. I guess we'll have to see what happens. Next game up, we got Reckless versus Generals. Both teams coming off of a loss. Generals lost to House Gang. Reckless lost to YMM. Now the problem with Reckless, it seems to be like they can't beat younger teams.
It's like youth is their weakness.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
They lost Bishop. That was a big play. Nobody's really talking about it. Nobody really said. You can't lose a guy that had the numbers that Bishop had and can't say it didn't affect the team.
I mean, he was pretty much their main gear for their team on
both sides.
ends. Yeah. Yes. Obviously, I'm gonna have the numbers there. He had 7 interceptions last year. He also had 7 touchdowns last year. So he was pretty much their driving gear on their offense and defense. That's why he was MVP last year. He was pretty much one of their main components besides Bug.
And the Generals played House Gang last week. They didn't look too great. They lost 6-0 against a very tough House Gang defense. But the Generals, they got some athletes there. But they're not scared of nobody. I give this team that. They're not scared of anybody. So let's get to the game. Bug starts right off. Touchdown pass to Horse to put them up 6-0. Horse got to be his go-to guy. For some reason, Horse isn't always on the field. He's a big 6'3" tight end. Why would you not always want to be on the field? You are a playmaker. They need your size. They need your leadership. They need him on the field. And then you got the Generals come back with the ball. They throw an interception right back to Reckless. What did this quarterback see?
I couldn't say. It just looks like it was just a bad throw. Maybe it was the wind. I don't know what it was. Whatever contributing factor it was, he threw that interception and it hurt them early.
So now Reckless gets the ball back. They got a touchdown by number 80, which is, I'm going with the stats. Lala's able to score a touchdown. That's another guy. They got a lot of big targets. They don't really got a lot of speed on the outside, but they got Lala, they got Horse, they got Sticky, they got Bo. They got a lot of big bodies that can get the ball into the gaps, and if you get them the ball, they're going to make plays. But unfortunately, Lala got hurt on that play, the next play. He got pretty much knocked out, it looked like.
Yeah, he got shaken up on that play, unfortunately, on the extra point. in all honesty, if you look at the play, he actually had the pass. He had it. He had the catch. But on that collision and the way he fell, it really shook him up, and he dropped the pass, and it took him a while to get back up. They didn't want to allow him to continue the game. He was very upset. And, you know, they only did it because, you know, they were concerned about their player or whatever. So they put him on the sideline, let him rest for a little bit. Unfortunately for Reckless, they also lost Sticky.
For cursing,
Yes, they lost him early in the game. And that's something that even Sticky was surprised, because he says he never gets kicked out of any games. So this is something that was surprising, and it really hurt them this game.
I think Reckless lost a combined maybe two players they lost. One of their big players on defense. But Bug is still able to score again, finding Bolo in front of the end zone for the touchdown to put this up 19-zip. By this time, you figure the game's over. You know, Generals basically are no match for this team. You know, Reckless seems too strong, too big, too physical for them. But on the next play, Generals were able to run back a kick. Unfortunately, we didn't get the shot of it because we had a situation on the sideline. But they was able to run back a kick, and that really got their energy back into the game. They was focused, they was ready, and they seemed like they was not going to bow down to this team. So unfortunately, once again, ball gets stopped. Give the Generals the ball back. Now, mind you, the worst thing you could give a lower-level team is momentum and let them think that they can beat you. That's exactly the mistakes that Reckless made against YMM. You can't keep these young kids in the game, because once they get that motivation and that one spark or one play, off to the races. As you see again right here, touchdown pass by the quarterback from the Generals to put them back into the game. 19-13. So now, all Bug got to do is drive in. All he has to do is get a first down. Get a first down. Game's over, because I believe Generals didn't have no much timeouts. But Bug made the mistake that he usually makes for his whole career. Bug is the UFL version of a Tony Romo. Bug puts up points. He was last year's quarterback of the year, but he makes mistakes to hurt you. He goes downfield to his receiver. Yes, the receiver should have made the catch. Guaranteed, ball was right there, popped out of his chest. But your job is to get the clock to run. By him throwing that pass, the ball was incomplete because the receiver dropped it. Gives them a fourth down, and unfortunately, they're not able to score.
I mean, that was pretty much, like I said before, decision making. Came down to decision making. You're already up.
But Bug's a veteran.
Yes. But the thing about it is, even if this is a veteran, you know, that was a bad decision right there. I mean, yes, he was open. Yes, it's enticing. But you don't go for that play because you don't need it. All you have to do is run the clock. You have the game in your hands. Run the clock. You know, keep their offense off of the field, and eventually you would come up for the win. You had the confidence to throw that pass. Unfortunately, you take that chance, and now your receiver drops a pass, and now it comes back to bite you in the end.
So now Generals got the ball back, and now they're hyped because they figured that they can score this up, they can tie the game up. They move the ball, but unfortunately, Bug is on defense, Horse is on defense because their players got ejected. So because their players got ejected, they had to sub in, unable to stop the Generals. Generals, like you see right here, able to make the score to tie the game up. 19-19. Now we got a game. And remember, Generals got the extra point to go. And they do score the extra point to put the game 2019 Generals. They made 3 scores after Reckless was up. You cannot give this lead back to this young team. They're not organized. They don't really know what they're doing yet. They're still getting involved. And Reckless lets them open the door and says, hey guys, come in. We're letting you in. Come on.
Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to give them the critique that we gave. Listen, hold on. I'm going to give them the critique that we gave, underrated, last year in the playoffs. When you have a bigger and faster team, in this case, a faster and younger team, what you do is you got to keep them off the field. You know that you're not really going to stay with them with your defense. You don't have Bishop there to follow the ball all over the field. You don't have him there. You don't have as many playmakers on defense. So what you got to do is you got to keep them off the field. You got to slow down your offense, run the clock, keep the ball in your possession, keep them off the field so that you don't have to chase them everywhere. Because when you play that back and forth game, as an older team, you're going to lose.
Since when Reckless was the type of team to make the plays that they're supposed to make? They make the boneheaded plays. They keep teams in the game, and they end up giving the game away.
But I feel like the season is still early, and I feel like they just need to buckle down, and they need to know what team they are.
Well,
they're not a run and gun team. They have the ability to do it, but they're not. They're not going to be successful if they try that philosophy.
Well, Reckless gets the ball back, and they got a few seconds on the clock, but they got, I believe, like 20 seconds left. More than enough time to move the ball. Unfortunately, they can't move the ball and score. They get the first down, they're moving, they get within the red zone. Unfortunately, they're unable to score. Generals get the win. Generals are 1-1. Reckless goes to 0-2. Panic mode? Horse told me no. Now remember, they were 0-2 last year, and they end up winning the conference.
Yes.
So
let's not, make that judgment too early, because, we kind of did last year, and they went for the races after Bug took over, but Bug is at the helm already.
Right.
And now they're at the same problems. Is it that they start slow? Who knows what it is. But, you can't have seasons starting off like this, because it doesn't look good for you, especially when you lose to two young teams. It already shows that you have weakness for speed. A lot of teams are paying attention to you now. So they're going to use the same strategy that these teams are using, and they're going to have this ball thrown down your throat. So you need to watch out on this, and you need to make sure you keep these offenses off the field.
Unfortunately, now they're 0-2. Remember, they got House Gang, Rawness, Animal Planet, and Browns all in their division. And they need to be the number 3. House Gang is 1-1, Rawness is 1-1, Animal Planet is 1-1, Browns are 1-1, and now Reckless is 0-2. So they can still get back in it. It's not over. Like Horse said, he's not in panic mode. We have to see what happens next week. They have a big game next week, and they play elpac. Elpac's not been looking good. Elpac is 0-2. Elpac does not look like they want to be here. So maybe this is the game that Reckless needs in order to jump back into the division. We'll have to see. Next up, we got Carver Mob, Ball So Hard. Ball So Hard was hyped for this game. They wanted to show what they had. They won last week versus KDW, and they wanted Carver Mob. Crazy would get to start this game. We talked about it last week. Why wouldn't you start this guy? This was an upgrade over what you had, but now you're playing Carver. So I don't know if that's a good one that Crazy wanted to start off with.
Let's just say this was a hard game for Ball So Hard on both sides of the field. I mean, unlike Ball So Hard, who was very unstructured, they're not together. They're two teams coming into one from last season. A bunch of guys from two different teams. They're still not in sync. They won last week, but I feel like they scraped by. It wasn't because they played great. It was just because they scraped by. So they're not tight-knit like Carver Mob is. Like, Carver Mob is a unity. To the team, obviously, they're not the full Carver Mob, but they play like they're the full Carver Mob. Pams is out there on the helm. Chuck is on their offense, running their offense. Danny's on their defense. I feel like they're a championship team waiting to happen.
And we start off right away. Chuck throws an interception to Loso. This made me think, okay, Ball So Hard have an opportunity, but unfortunately, they don't score.
So it doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day, because they were not able to do with the opportunity they had on offense. So let's go back to Chuck getting the ball back on offense.
Chuck gets sacked.
He gets sacked.
But it's like nothing.
No, he actually, if you look here, he gives a nod to the blitzer, which was Loso, who had a big game. He told him, you gave him a little congratulations or whatever. Like it's nothing pretty much. And I feel like that alone is demoralizing. Why wouldn't you hate this guy?
It's just unbelievable, because 3 plays later, Chuck will find Angel for Angel's second touchdown of the day. Angel will score a touchdown later from Chuck. But it's like, wait a minute. We just turned the ball over. You just got sacked and you throw a touchdown? That's why it's Chuck Brayton. And it's not about saying, he's just everybody's rider. This guy is really good. He's really good.
And that's why a lot of people must hate him right now, because he's so confident. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's probably one of the smartest quarterbacks to ever step on these fields.
Ball So Hard, as we all know, the guy is really good. Ball So Hard gets the ball back. They start at their own 1 because of botch kick by the kick return by the return man. They get the ball at their 1. Carver doesn't blitz. They cover the guys, And here's Bishop right here getting the sack on Crazy. Crazy didn't know where he was on the field. Receivers don't know how to run routes. You can't do that against Carver. You can't do that against any of these teams in this league. But now you're playing Carver, you have to play mistake-free football. Mistake-free. Carver sees your weaknesses and they keep hitting you in it. Keep hitting you in it. Keep hitting you in it. And that's all they did. They didn't blitz a lot. They sat back in zone and they made Crazy make plays which he was unable to make. Chuck even takes a sack from Loso after Bishop called out, I will pick up the blitz. Why would Chuck allow this man to just get the sack?
I mean, obviously, he knows where he's at. He's a few yards from the first down. It's probably first or second down, so he's not stressing it. He knows he's going to get the first down anyway, so he's not stressing the blitz at all. If you hear, let's just go to the chatter right here.
Yeah, you can
As
see it.
you hear the chatter in between them, they have a little conversation going. Bishop shouts out that he's going to pick up the blitz. And Chuck tells him, no, you're not. Leave him alone. Let him come. They already know the blitz is coming, and you still use that blitz. You're supposed to, the blitz is a surprise play. It's supposed to be to surprise the quarterback. He was already aware of it, so it was ineffective at the end of the day.
After they get the blitz, 3 plays later, Chuck ends up still finding his best favorite receiver, Cable Guy, for the touchdown. Unbelievable. They already jump out 16-0. So now this team has problems. Ball so hard already, got punched in the mouth twice quickly that they don't know what's going on. Chuck again finds Angel eventually later on in the game for a second touchdown to put them up 24-zip after the 2-point conversion.
I mean,
when is ball so hard? Like, what happened? I thought they had a good defense last week. Or was it just KDW defense? Offense was that bad?
No, I just look at it as they're playing against Carver Mob. That's all you can say. They're playing against a team that knows what they're doing. They know how to handle these type of offenses, especially when they're confused and don't know what they're doing. They're not moving the ball, so it's a run in the park for Carver Mob. Like, what can you expect?
Then you got Chuck here making his 4th touchdown pass of the game. This one to Bishop to end the game. Carver Mob ends up winning 31-0. Unbelievable. I don't know what's going to happen right now with ball so hard. I mean, they're 1-1, so that's not a bad problem. You're pretty much okay. You know, they're in a difficult division. No, I would say they're in a winnable division. So they should be okay. Carver's already jumped out in their division. They're 2-0. They're sitting at the helm, tied with them getters for number 1. Carver was all that was expected. It doesn't have anything to do with who the team is. It only has to do with their coach and their quarterback. Unfortunately, one of the guys who was signed in the offseason, Julio Lopez Wise, was declared his retirement. This was his last game. He just wasn't feeling it. A lot of other things he had to do. A lot of times he had to rush to the game. So, you know, he declared his retirement. He didn't want us to make a big deal about it. If I'm right, he's been playing about 15, 16, I would say 20 years he's been playing. He has 4 championships, 2 of them undefeated. This last championship he won with Rebels with myself. He was my teammate, that's my brother. Great career, nothing to look down to. He's just declaring his retirement because he's saying it's not fun no more for him. And rather than hold up what Carver's trying to do, he'd rather step back and let these guys play because he started today. Pam's wanted him on the team. You know, James, Danny, Chuck, all of them wanted him to play, but, you know, he decided to call it a career. He just didn't feel the passion, and we all know as players, when you don't have the passion to play the game, it's time to go. So he leaves, like I said, with 4 championships. We wanted to give him a quick shout-out. We'll show one of his catches right here in the championship game with the Rebels. You know, and this guy was a great receiver. What would you remember from Wise's career?
I mean, he was, first of all, he was a humble guy, a guy that you would always get along with. He was a team player. He was a guy that you couldn't say anything bad about, you know, and he played hard. That's another thing. He played hard no matter what team he played for. Whether they were winning, whether they were losing, whether they were a good team, whether they were a bad team. He played hard, he gave it his all, and he was always out to have fun. And obviously, when the fun diminished, he had no reason to be there anymore.
I'm going to just say I remember this guy. He's a great teacher, has a lot of passion, a lot of energy. You know, like I said, he's the guy knows offense. He stored a lot of offense. So we just wanted to give him a shout out. We wish him good luck on whatever other future goals he has. He has nothing to hold his head down about. Like I said, he won 4 championships, won undefeated twice in his career. He had a great season. Very underrated player, could have played with a lot of better teams, but he always wanted to stay within the organization, within the block, and, you know, we're going to wish him farewell. He had a great career-wise. Have a good one. Next up, we're going to have Black Stallions versus Evo. Both teams coming off of blowout losses last week. Black Stallions losing to MV. Carver beating Evo. And we're going to get right to the action of the game.
We start off with the first score by Evo. They driving down the field and Slick throws his first touchdown pass to Marvin
to put them up 7-zip. But what happens here, if you look at the play and you break it down, you got number 23, I believe, on the Stallions. He leaves the corner. We all know in football, you never leave the corner. He bails out of the corner, doesn't cover the man, leaves him wide open in the touchdown for Slick to find him. You can't make those mistakes, especially in the red zone. Black Stallions will get the ball back on their possession.
And then they'll throw a deep pass. Unfortunately, the receiver was wide open. He ends up dropping the play.
Then they'll have to evidently they have to punt the ball. You can't make these mistakes once again. Receiver's wide open, drops the ball, turnover. They have to punt the ball now.
And Evo with Slick throwing his second touchdown pass to Willie this time.
Once again, if you see, the defenders are leaving the corner. These are the mistakes that they're making. You can't leave the corner. Look, let's break it down in slow-mo. You see them leaving. 2 receivers actually get to roll right in the back of the end zone, and the defenders are guarding no one. Rather than they see what's behind them, they give up an easy lob pass to touchdown to Willie in the back of the end zone.
Black Stallions will try again to score, but unfortunately they drive down the field, but they cannot score again.
Evidently, Evo will get the ball back. They're not able to score, so Black Stallions again get the ball back, and they're finally able to score with the quarterback. He doesn't have a number. Find the Angel for the touchdown. 14-6. Black Stallions are back in the game.
Well, Evo will get their possession back in the second half. This time, Slick throws his third touchdown pass in the corner.
This is the problem that Black Stallions has made all day long. Leaving the corners, giving up the touchdown. Evo attacked them in the corners of the end zone, back, front, and they end up taking a 21-6 lead. Black Stallions will get the ball back one more time to evidently throw an interception back to Evo to end the game. Game ends 21-6. Black Stallions got to get it together. They're down 0-2 right now. They're making several mistakes on defense and not able to put up points. And now they got to figure out who they are. Who's the quarterback? What this team's going to be known at. They got defensive plays. They got Coach Al who calls these plays. But this team is still making mistakes. And the teams in this team are going to find it and they're going to capitalize on it.
And I think it's the mistakes that's key to this team. I mean, they have a quarterback that can actually reach his receivers out there. That was a struggle that they had last season. This season, they have a quarterback with a decent arm that can get the ball out there. But it's just the decision making that's a problem. He doesn't know where he's throwing it to and when, and the receivers seem sloppy in their route running. They don't know how, they're not getting open, and they're not catching their passes.
Evo turning it around, going 1-1 after coming off a loss to Carver. Way to turn it around. Slick was on point today, finding his receivers, taking it easy, not doing too much. Seeing it and then doing it. Calling the plays, knew how to attack Black Stallions defense, and it worked. And as far as Evo's defense, I'm not going to say they played terrific. It was just a bad Black Stallions offense. These teams got to turn it up. Evo gets on the board with a win, and now Black Stallions fall to 0-2. Next up, Animal Planet versus elpac. Animal Planet coming off an 0-8 season. They were the worst team in the league last year. elpac coming off a second round loss. They was the number 2 seed in the division, coming off a good season. But elpac will lose Swagger, Herman, JP, Eric, Wise, several key players on this team. While Animal Planet will step it up, and they got a quarterback known as Pito. I believe he's doing 7-1-8. Good quarterback to help address their offensive woes. They had the worst offense in the league last year. I believe they only scored 33 points combined in the season. So they're coming off of a bad season last year, 0-8. Play elpac, but the results will be very different. We're gonna jump right to it. elpac's first possession. If you look right here, Moses is almost picked off. Moses threw the ball bad all day. I think he's getting frustrated. His receivers don't know him. This team don't look like they want to be here. Evidently, Animal Planet will get the ball back. Deep touchdown pass right here from Beto to his receiver, wide open up the middle. What happened?
It just seems like a different team. This quarterback is what made this team a different team on this year. I think that was a difference maker to them, and that's a big pickup for them.
Moses would get the ball back and evidently finally scored a touchdown to tie them right back in the game. Moses finally showed good touch. People says Moses' problem as a quarterback, he don't have enough touch in his pass. Everything's zip. Well, he shows the ability to get touch right here. Great touchdown pass, ties the game to 6-6. But Animal Planet's able to punch them right back with Beto throwing a touchdown to number 7 to put them up 12-6. This team, Animal Planet, can put up points. Now, we don't know if it was a weak elpac defense or just a strong Animal Planet offense. Right here, this pass by Moses thrown was intercepted. His receiver dropped the ball. That's not Moses' fault. Got to make that catch.
I feel like the whole offense is to blame for this. I mean, it's not only Moses that's having trouble out there. I think the receivers are not helping him. They're not running routes and getting open, and they're not catching these passes.
That would give Moses his second touchdown, a second interception of the game. Then after this, you'll see another touchdown pass from Beto to number 22. A bomb. This guy can throw down the field to put them up 18-6. Evidently, elpac would get stopped again. Another stop. Animal Planet offense back on the field after a few plays, able to go up and score another touchdown and put them up 24-6. They are hitting Moses and Team elpac hard.
They're sending a message out there that they're not the team from last year and they can put up points.
Next play, Moses get the ball back on offense. Throws another interception. His third of the day. But if you look, this one was on Moses. The play was behind the receiver. And if you look towards the end of the play, if you slow it down, he was frustrated. Gets a personal foul and his shoulder hit after the interception. You can see hit the quarterbacks. You can see his emotion on this play. That's why he took a dirty flag.
I mean, Moses altogether is an emotional quarterback. You see him when a player drops a pass, when a pick is thrown. Anything happens, you can see it on Moses, and he reacts to it. That's how you get to him. Make big plays or throw him right out of the game.
Evidently, Animal Planet gets the ball back. They score another touchdown that will put them up 30-6. They're basically blowing this team out. They will score another touchdown to end the game. They end up winning 36-6 with their quarterback throwing, I believe, 5 touchdown passes. Right now, that puts Animal Planet at 1-1. They lost last week off of a forfeit, and Animal Planet 0-2. Animal Planet showed that they're able to score points. We don't know if it was a bad elpac team that caused it. We'll see next week. But now elpac is 0-2. They lost another player. Mary Anthony's rumored to be leaving to go play with House Gang. They lost Cujo lad this week. Also last week he quit to go to Rawness. elpac got problems.
I mean, they look like they had problems from game 1, from when they stepped on the field. They don't look like they're ready to play. Like a lot of players don't even look like they want to be there. Moses looks confused. Like this whole team is a mess, and I think they really need to do some damage control.
Well, right now we got to see what's going to happen. Moses says he's going to weather the storm. He's going to stay with this team. He's not going anywhere. He believes that they can turn it around. Animal Planet is hyped. Last year they were the joke, and now they're the team on the rise because they got a quarterback.
And I feel like that was the key. If you do not have a quarterback in a league like this, you cannot win games. And now they have a quarterback that can make plays and put up points, and I think that's the difference maker for them. We
got to see if it's true or if it's a smoke screen, because some teams start out strong and they end up weak. So we're going to see what happens. It's still early, a lot of games to go. Next up, Valley Boys MV, the defending champs MV. Valley Boys coming off a win last week. They only have one person, Wesley. Wesley is this team's playmaker. And plus, he's the only one to have a jersey. So I think it's going to be a little bit too much for him, though, against an MV team that's stacked and they're the defending champions. MV also coming off a win, a blowout win to Black Stallions, 1-0. I think they feel a little disrespected that nobody's talking about them. Everybody's talking about Carver. They don't like that. They're going to have Carver next week. So they get to show what they got. We're going to go right to the highlights of this game. Well, Fred is able to find Nomar for the touchdown. Fred starts off fresh. He's ready to go. No playing around with him this season. He's a starter. He's the man because they lost Yomi for the year. He don't have Yomi to bail him out if anything happens with this team. But he already told me, quote, "This is my team. I'm the leader of this team, and we go as far as I go." So anyway, that puts him up 6-zip. Valley Boys get the ball back. Sean with a great sack here to stop them to turn the ball over. Sean is a big play player. He was up there for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think people give this man enough credit.
And I think it's because of the size is one of the main things. A lot of quarterbacks are shorter than him when they're throwing over, so it's hard to get passes past him. He can knock the plays away, and he can also be there to sack to catch you on that sack because he's not slow.
Fred eventually, Fred and MV would get the ball back because of that turnover. After a few plays, Fred is able to find Jesus on this quick out route in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. This defense of the rest of the Valley Boys, you can't allow this to happen. If you watch in slow-mo, Jesus is able to make a quick slant, look like a 5 and out, right to the back of the corner, and nobody's there defending. What's going on?
I mean, he was open throughout that whole route that he ran. I don't know. It's just sloppy defense. They need to correct that quick.
That puts MV up 13-zip. Valley Boys will get the ball back. They're driving, they're moving the ball a few plays. Now, on the blitz here. To me is the best blitzer in this league. He knows when to go. He knows how to go. He knows when to bring the pressure. He's the best blitzer in this league. If you slow it down, because of the blitz, this throw from Valley Boy quarterback is underthrown, and Norm is able to make a great one-handed interception play.
Wow. I mean, the main thing was that blitz, because if you look at that play, the receiver had a step on him, a slight step. A good quarterback would be able to throw it over the defender's head. That may have even been a score. But because of that blitz, that made the difference and caused it to go the other way.
Well, MV gets the ball back. Valley Boys finally able to put some pressure on them, and they get to sack Fred, make that they're able to stop them to go into the half. 13-zip. Halftime is 13-zip. We see MV is on a little roll. They move, their defense is playing very well, and Valley Boys, Wesley doesn't do nothing in the first half, and it's no question that why he didn't do nothing in the first half. The team is down 0-zip going into the half. He needs to get some more playmakers to help him out. Second half will pretty much be the same. Sean getting another 2 sacks after both teams was not able to do anything, and Valley Boys finally gets the ball back. Sean was able to get 2 big sacks, his 3rd sack of the day here, to give MV great field position as Valley Boys aren't able to score. Fred throws another touchdown pass to Blue. Fred's 3rd of the day. If you look at where Fred put this ball, this is the Fred that wins championships. He puts the ball low enough that only receiver can get it and the defender can't touch it.
I mean, these are the throws that they need Fred to make throughout the season. If he can make throws like this, it'll be hard to beat this MV team.
Valley Boys get the ball back, finds a wide receiver on the right side, down the sideline for a touchdown, wide open. MV has a habit of taking the foot off the pedal. They had a lot of times last year. They had a way to blow teams out, but they left Newbury, one of the worst teams in the league. They won that game, I believe it was 12-6 or 12-2 or something like that. 12-2. You can't take your foot off the pedal because you're better than the team. You want to make a statement. You want to get in and get out. So they're able to score and put the game 21-6. They get back into it. So Valley Boys got something to think about as they're able to score on MV's defense. But MV gets the ball back, and Fred shows he's mobile. Unfortunately, we got the end of the play. He able to run for a touchdown, putting them up 28-6. Valley Boys were able to score to put the game 28-13, but by that time the game was already over. Game was already done. You basically say Valley Boys losing 28-13 to MV.
I mean, but speaking about what you just said earlier about them taking the foot off the pedal, it's like they play down to the team that they're playing with. So because they know that they have the game sealed, they calm down, their defense gets lax, and then they start to make mistakes. They let the other team score, and that's something that they cannot do, because any team can surprise them. Any team can turn the game around. Look what happened to Reckless last week against the Generals. This is something that they cannot afford this early in the season.
Well, now that ends the game. Valley Boys are 1-1. They came off a win last week, so now they're 1-1. So they're in pretty much good standings. They're okay. and you got Envy that's 2-0, but they got a big game this week coming against Carver. This defense will have to put pressure on Chuck, who is the most relaxed quarterback in this league. As you saw last week, this week in their game, he's able to not worry about the blitz. The blitzing is what Envy does well. They have a lot of different schemes, but the question is, can Fred have a shootout with Chuck if it's necessary?
I mean, maybe. I mean, like I said, if he can make the throws that he made in this game, I feel like they can have a shootout. The thing about it is, Carver's defense is the main thing you talk about. They are a united defense. They speak well together. They know where each guy is on the field. So that'll be trouble for Fred. And on the other side, this is a good defense on NV, but they play lax when they get ahead. But maybe with an offense like Chuck's offense, that'll keep them in the game throughout. So I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, we're going to see what happened this week. Next up, we got the Kill Bills versus Rawness. Kill Bills coming off of a win on a forfeit to Animal Planet. Rawness coming off of a loss to IOD. Rawness this game will switch to quarterback. It looked like Casey is throwing. I couldn't really see who the quarterback was. But they don't go with Eddie. They go with Casey or whoever this quarterback is. Kill Bills finally get to show what they're bringing into the league. Remember, they had basically a bye week last week win. And now they're ready to show what they got. We're going to start off right here with Rawness getting the ball. Number 0 on a great kick return. Bates in the middle, takes the sideline, and he's gone. But he just gets tripped up towards the end of the play.
I know that he saw daylight on that play, but unfortunately he got caught right as he got to the 7-yard line.
Great field position. They start out in the red zone. And the mistake that quarterbacks have been making this season is they giving the ball to the ball giver when they already know you hike the ball to yourself. So they end up turning the ball over on an interception. That turns away number 0's great kick return. It's all for naught because they end up turning the ball over. But after that, Kill Bills are unable to score and capitalize on the interception. Give back to them. You can't make these mistakes. I
mean, and that may bite them later on because that's a possession that you're not supposed to give away. You're supposed to capitalize on every possession, even when it's given to you. So that may hurt them later.
Rawness gets the ball back now, and as you can see, this quarterback is a little more mobile than Eddie of last week. He's able to move away from the blitz and still able to make the pass. He doesn't look like he really wants to run. He looks like he's the type of guy to move around, buy time for his receivers to get open. He goes downfield with this pass to his receiver, but unfortunately, the receiver drops the touchdown pass. You cannot have drops like this.
I mean, he was wide open on that play. That's an unfortunate drop, and that's something that you just don't do. That's one-on-one. If the ball is in your hands, you catch the ball.
Rawness evidently gets stopped. Kill Bills are able to stop him, but Kill Bills are not able to capitalize on another turnover. They cannot score, and they end up giving Rawness back the ball.
I mean, this is killing them. They gotta score. They gotta put up points, and this is not what they're doing.
Your defense already made 2 stops. Unfortunately, they can't get 3 in a row. As quarterback number 21 from Rawness able to, if you see right here in the front right corner, throw the first touchdown pass of the game. Great pass in the front right corner. Defense can't hold forever.
I mean, of course, that's gonna happen eventually. If your offense is not making any scores, you're gonna have your defense fall apart eventually, and this is what happened.
After a 3-and-out by Kill Bills, unable to score again, Rawness gets the ball back, and they're able to throw another touchdown pass in the front middle. It was simple. Touch and throw. Touch and throw. He saw it. Guy was open. Little touch pass. Touchdown.
Looks like Rawness is getting their stride on offense in this game.
So right now, they're up 12-zip. But finally, a big play. Number 81 of the Kill Bills, if you can see right here, makes the same cut down the sideline, runs it up in the middle, towards the middle, for a touchdown on the kick return.
I mean, I guess that's something that they didn't expect. They didn't really try to get him. I guess they assumed that somebody was going to tag him. And unfortunately, that's not what happened.
Now you have a 12-7 game. You have a ball game now. Rawness gets the ball back. 21, unable to avoid the sack, gets sacked on this play. Wasn't mobile on that one. Then, once again, Kill Bills are able to make the play to cause a turnover to get the ball back.
Because Kill Bills, after that score, that was their momentum starter. Now they're in the game. The defense is in there now, and they're making plays.
Now, Kill Bills get the ball back. 81 drops a touchdown pass. That would have got them back in the game. It would have possibly tied the game, if not given them a lead.
How many chances that they get to score and they fell short? This is going to hurt them. And this is something that they cannot do against other teams. It's just ugly.
After a back and forth, Rawness was able to score one more time to go up 18-7. Now, technically would end the game. Neither team was very consistent, but when Rawness had the opportunities, they took it and was able to score 3 touchdowns. And it seemed like the Kill Bills left opportunities out all game long.
I mean, from that possession that they lost from the interception, that was a possession that was given to you, supposed to capitalize, and that became the role of the game for them. That became what became of the game.
It was an ugly game, but you still have, the weather wasn't great. You know, the field wasn't great, but you still got to capitalize on the mistakes. And they had 3 opportunities to score, and they were unable to do it.
I mean, 2 fundamental mistakes, which was the interception that they gave the ball away, and that drop touchdown pass. Those are 2 things that could have turned this game around.
Right. They got the ball back in the red zone after the interception, hand over to them. They wasn't able to score, and a drop touchdown. You put those plays in the game, and you either take the lead or you win this game. And I know right now, Kill Bill's going to kick themselves. They can sit down and say it's the referees. They can sit down and say whatever they want. But at the end of the day, when you have an opportunity to put a team away, you have to. Kill Bill's had opportunity to jump in front, take a lead. They didn't, and they only have themselves to blame coming into next week. They are 1-1. They got only themselves to blame for that loss. Rawness looks like they got a quarterback. Looks like they're going to be on track. Cujo was able to make plays for them. Cujo had about 3 tackles, and this guy brings energy. Now all they got to do is try to look more organized, at least wear the same color. At least do that.
Hopefully things will get ironed out as time goes by.
But they're 1-1 now, and they're right back in the thick of it in the UFL. Next up, we have the last game, Underrated versus Them Getters. Underrated coming off a loss last week. Them Getters coming off of a win. Once again, offenses wasn't the best, but Them Getters will jump out to an early lead. Let's just jump out to the game and let you know what happened. The Getters quarterback, Jock, will find Henry here for a touchdown. It seemed too simple, too easy for this guy, Jock. Just moving the ball whatever he wanted against this underrated defense.
Well, they have a lot of playmakers on this Them Getters team. They have a lot of guys, like I said last week, from Untouchables that made plays. So they're a team that knows how to get open, and they actually catch the ball, unlike some people that's this week.
Underrated will get Sniper back this week. Their quarterback, he wasn't there last week. He comes back this week. First drive of the UFL new season, he stopped. They end up giving the ball to the Getters. And once again, the Getters move the ball. If you look at this great throw and catch to Hollywood, Hollywood is the leader of this team. He makes great plays. Him and Megatron are a crazy 1-2 punch for the Getters.
I mean, he knows how to get open. He's been doing it from last week. He shows that no matter what defender you put on him, he's going to make a play.
And Getters, they get field position. They make plays. They score a touchdown with Jock's second touchdown pass. We didn't know who it was. He didn't have a number. But he will catch the second touchdown pass, putting them up 13-0. Underrated gets the ball back here. And after Sniper moves the ball down the field several plays, he's able to find Joe for his first touchdown of the season with the extra point. Now they're back in the game 13-7.
I mean, this is something that they needed last week that they didn't have in that game against Valley Boys. So welcome back to Sniper. You know, he was able to move the ball. He was able to chop up the field and eventually score.
But the Getters will get the ball back and they're able to score another touchdown. This is becoming too easy for them, them Getters team. Underrated wanted them. Underrated called them out. They called me personally and said, listen, we got to play this team. We want a shot at them. Chu got his chance. They end up getting smacked around. Underrated will get the ball back, but have to punt. Can't move the ball, can't score. Getters get the ball back. And here, after moving the ball several plays, Chalk finds Hollywood down. It's too simple for this team. Underrated, never really been known for their defense. Where's their star receiver who went to the All-Star game last year? Yeah. He's not here. He played both sides of the ball. Where is Robert? This team needs him.
I mean, that's a missing piece on their team. Obviously, you see it on their defense. They weren't able to stop the scores on neither this team or the Valley Boys, who had one person, and they couldn't stop him, which was Wesley. So this is bad. Underrated does not look good right now.
So right now, them Gators will go up 26-7. Sniper will score another touchdown to put them back in the game. Look fine at JJ, 23-13. But evidently, Gators will score again. Jock to Megatron to put the game away, 33-13. An embarrassing loss for underrated. Them Gators jump out to a 2-0 record.
Well, put it towards rust for Sniper. Put it towards troubles with the defense. Who knows what the main issue is, but they gotta fix it. This is already week 2, and they're 0-2. This is not a good start for them. They need to fix it for next week.
Them Gators are in the driver's seat. They 2-0. They're feeling good about themselves. Nobody's talking about them. They're flying under the radar, but they're doing what they gotta do, which is rank up wins.
I mean, they don't need to be talked about. They seem like a team that likes to go under the radar. They're a team that surprises teams. You know, they're a team that picks up a win under your nose. And a win is a win at the end of the day. And as long as they're playing solid defense and offense, I think that they have a chance against a lot of teams in this league.
Now, what was your big game of the day that
well,
you would say that...
I mean, it's hard. It's hard because there were a lot of big games this week. You know, there was, you know, with the weather bad, a lot of teams actually played better with this bad weather. I think one of the main highlights of this week had to be YMM and the Browns. It had to be because they went at it. You know, they had a friendly, you know, rivalry. They spoke with each other. They weren't, you know, tussling. There weren't no arguing. It was just friendly competition. They went at it. Both teams were scoring. They broke the scoreboard pretty much. YMM came up on top, and it was the unity of YMM that really stood out for me. It really stood out for me.
Mine was the IOD house gang game. House gang showing that they have a defense. IOD's just turning it up on them, and they was able to win. IOD played efficient football. They just go out and do their job, and they go home. So that was my game. My play of the week, I would have to say, would be Pito from Animal Planet. I believe he threw 5 touchdowns against elpac.
He had a terrific game.
He steps in as a quarterback for Animal Planet. Animal Planet is now talked about. Last year, they were the laughing stock of the league. You know, unfortunately, but this year they turned it around and they show that they can score points with people.
I mean, let's just see, because it's only been one game because they weren't able to make it to the first game. So we'll see that if it was just a horrible elpac team, or was it just that their offense was actually good? You know, that their quarterback was there. Now they're gelling together, and now they're trouble for other teams.
And my defensive player of the game of the day would be KDW's ball giver, Chris. Chris, that's his name. Am I saying it? Yeah,
yes.
Great game. I believe he had 3 sacks. Efficient at ball giver, showing what he can do, what he brings to the table, and really leading that that KDW's defense. So those are my 2 players of the game. Like I said, Beto from Animal Planet and Mike from KDW.
Well, my 2 players of the day are on offense. It had to be Ralph from YMM. I mean, this guy comes, and you can see the difference in this team as soon as he hits the field. As soon as he steps on the field and he grabs that football, they're a different team. They're a team that can beat anybody in this league. He puts up points. He's accurate on a deep pass. He knows where all his receivers are at, and he makes plays. He makes a difference, and that's why he was my offensive player today. On defense, and this is a funny thing, my defensive player today is also a ball giver, but my person is Smoke. I feel for the last 2 weeks he's been very efficient for this team. I feel like he's one of the main people on their defense that keeps them in the game. He helped them win the first game, and again he made plays on offense and defense. So he gets my player of the week this day.
Well, we're gonna wrap up the show. Hope y'all like it. Unfortunately, we let y'all know in the beginning of the game. You know, I'm taking a personal responsibility. The SD card was damaged, so there's a few games that we couldn't show the highlights for. We apologize. This week, I guarantee you, as the lead guy in the UFL, we will get better. And as your host of Tuff Talk, we will get better. Everything will be better. You'll see a lot of new highlights, a lot of new technology that goes to showing us this week. It'll be hype because now we're in the driver's seat. We're in week 3. We're ready to go. Everything's set. We just thank y'all for y'all patience. We apologize once again about the situation. Unfortunately, the SD card got damaged, and we was unable to show several game highlights. We talked about it. The highlights wasn't there. We understand if you skip it, any problems, any situation, any way you want to talk to us. If you look on Guestbook, when you go to the page, you can leave your comments. We respond to your comments. We'll talk about your comments. Any questions, anything you want to say to us. So, anything you want to say?
I mean, unfortunately, there was a lot of big games that we missed. We spoke about them, but we didn't have highlights for them this week because there were crazy weather, things happened, so we apologize on that. But I think it was a great week other than that. I think it was a lot of big games. A lot of teams came and played hard. A lot of teams came and surprised. And I feel like it's excitement. I just can't wait for week 3.
Well, another thing, as we told y'all before, we had the UFL toy drive. That'll probably be up tomorrow on Saturday. We hope y'all watch it. Y'all like it. We're going to have a lot of pictures of the kids, a lot of video footage of what happened. And we just hope y'all like it. We appreciate everybody that helped out on it. We will give shout outs on that film. I know one of the players was Wise. I know another underrated gave some money. Mike Santos of House Gang gave some money. The coach from Black Stallions gave some money. We're going to give a shout out to everybody on that film. But we thank y'all for all your help. We appreciate y'all being a part of our league. And I guarantee you, this is my guarantee. Like everybody know, I'm Stephen J. But as Jaquim Brown, the lead guy of the UFL, I promise you, things are going to get crazy now. It's going to get a whole lot better. Everything will be accurate. Everything will be up to date. We were just getting started. This is week 3. Now we're in the driver's seat to start to get started. So get your popcorn ready because it's game time from now. We see y'all people next week. I'm Stephen J.
And I'm Ghost.
And we'll see y'all next week on Real Tough Talk.
Later.